Tonight we're out in one of the farm fields with Johnny 5 and the big Grapple. Tim's mom and dad actually came to the field with us. It was kind of a fun evening. It wasn't too hard of work. During the winter, the creek overflowed, bringing lots of wood and other debris into the field that needs to be cleaned up before planting.
My family has lots of equipment, obviously, but they don't have a grapple, if you can believe that. Typically, Dad would use the loader bucket to scoot this brush all the way from the middle of the field to the edge. When they saw this grapple from PrecisionMFG.com, they wanted us to bring it down and see how it would work for them.
Katriel was taking this opportunity to learn to fly the drone better, and she was a scout for Tim to help him look for these logs. They were kind of hard to see laying in the grass.
Now throughout this episode, you're seeing my first actual usage of this grapple. It's a different style than the Artillean grapple I have for the smaller Johnnies, so I've had to learn some different techniques. Over the next day or so, I did improve my skills dramatically. For example, I learned not to tilt it so far forward to pick things up. This audio you're hearing is from inside the cab, so that's the lever that's being shaken back and forth that you're hearing, not the actual grapple. Now for this episode and for the next episode with Johnny 5, you'll see that I have 8 70-pound and 8 42-pound weights. I hadn't yet received my larger heavy hitch with 100-pound weights, so that was all I had at that point. It's not enough, but again, we'll go into this more in our next episode. A lot of times with a grapple, you see us with big, heavy loads on each trip. Here, that we were just trying to pick up onesie-twosie logs and limbs, and so none of the loads were really full. Having said that, this would have been a big job without a grapple.
Tim was on the phone with Katriel telling her what to look for. So when Katriel spotted big logs and stuff, she would let her dad know, and we would try to find it in the field.
Big hunks of wood, logs, limbs. There's one in front of me here. Okay, Christy, this is the visibility we get. It's a little hard to see what's going on.
You didn't get it.
Oh, see, I didn't even get that. Small enough with this big old grapple. Now I'm going to miss the end one.
You're right, it's really hard to see, isn't it?
I find it really hard to see. Now the grapple's doing an excellent job. It's taken me a little bit to get used to it. Get used to this different machine. It's such a totally different size machine than I'm used to. Oh, that's the one I missed before. They're directing me back. See, I didn't do a good enough job, Christy.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Still having a little trouble grabbing it, isn't it?
Well, it's not.
You are.
Now I need to back up to see what I've grabbed or not. Well, I must have got all those. Now there is another one laying on the ground here, but I'll have to get it another trip.
Yeah. So why is it important to get these up?
Well, they could hurt the farm equipment, the discs and the planter. So when they run over them, it might hurt them.
Yeah, the planter's got cutters on it, right? To cut the ground open and...
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of equipment that, you know, might or might not be damaged. And then this fall, it's combine.
That's right. They have to do this to every field they have?
Anything that would have water flowing over it like this. this flooded, of course, in the winter.
Okay.
There's not many acres down in here that does flood, but there is some. So this is what you would consider creek bottom land, Christy.
Okay, so
So there's a creek right out there, and it yields really good because it retains its moisture, and it's, you know, the water table is pretty close here, and so, you know, this is really good soil, but it just requires different maintenance, you know, because it does flood. And in addition to what we're doing now, if you kind of can look right out across there, you can see the ditches. There's another ditch forming,
yeah.
and we'll have to control that. Otherwise, we'll lose this piece that I'm driving on now, and it won't be accessible. So now move it over to the right here, Christy. So we'll have to plug that hole. The water runs this way, so we'll have to plug that hole so that this ditch doesn't fully form. I doubt we'll do that tonight, but that's a task that will have to happen.
You're going faster.
I'm hunting.
You're hunting. Yeah, pretty bad video, I'm sure. Pretty bumpy. Here's another one of those places the water's been through.
Yeah, that's washed out pretty bad.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a chunk out there.
Some little ones over there. I have to say, I think Johnny and the other grapple would have been faster.
You know, for what we're doing here, Johnny would have been fabulous. Did I even get it?
No.
Yeah, it's in there.
Oh, is it?
Oh, it's big.
There's a whole bunch right along this. See where the waters ran?
Yeah. I know, don't carry your load high, but this way we can get some good video, Christy. If I flip over on the way, that'll be good video too, right?
Yeah. I'll probably whack you with the camera.
There's some ruts here. I better lower
Yeah.
my load.
Boy, it's still really wet over there.
I hear you. You're punching buttons. This air seat's really nice.
Yeah, I don't have an air seat.
How's the buddy seat, Christy?
Well, if it were smoother out here, it'd be just fine.
It's a seat.
Yeah, it's a seat. I'm not, sitting on my knees, so that's good. Well, that's a good load.
Yeah, for what we're doing. I mean, oops.
Then you drop part of it.
I don't think I dropped it. I don't think I was ever far enough to get it. Now, my dad and mom are going to be out picking up chunks by hand. I can see what's happening. Rough spot, Christy.
Yeah.
The tongs are not as long as I expect.
The what?
The
Teeth?
the
top part?
The top part.
Clamp?
Clamp is not. It's not as long as what I expect it to be. It's long enough if I.
Not what you're used to.
Oh shoot! That log ain't enough to hurt anybody if it's gonna rot like that. My dad and I worked most of the next day trying to fill in those washouts. He used the Case 580 backhoe, and I used Johnny 5 here with the bucket attached instead of the grapple. Unfortunately, we don't have video of that, so I guess you'll have to take my word for it. Like I say, I learned over the next several hours to hold the grapple flatter, and I could make it dig in just a couple of inches and push that stuff along until I could eventually get it up into the grapple bed. Unfortunately, the camera had already been put away by the time I mastered it. My dad owns this particular property. He purchased it in 1994 or 1995. At that point, none of this back here had been farmed in several years. It was just too wet and too hard to get to. So with a lot of cleanup work and a lot of TLC, he brought it back to life. He ran corrugated perforated tile under all of this on the 40-foot centers, I believe, just like we did on our property. He worked a lot to improve surface drainage as well. All this together really improved this property. Previously, it was difficult to farm. The yields were inconsistent. Oftentimes, they wouldn't even be able to get it planted at all. And now, while it's still a bit difficult to deal with at times, it's one of his best producing properties.
Here I was riding on the back of the 1-ton truck with the camera. Tim's dad was going really slow, looking for logs.
I'm wanting her to get the limb off my grapple!
Oh! While Tim was driving up towards the truck for me to get this limb out, his dad didn't realize what was going on, so he kept pulling forward, and I kind of lost my balance. Keep watching.
Why does it seem like Christy's always the one in danger? Well, this episode's been a little bit different. We were relaxed and enjoying some time together with the family. If you enjoy our videos, we'd really appreciate it if you'd press that subscribe button. It means a lot to us. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim.